Hello and welcome to Yoga for Connecting with the Elements. My name is Adriana with Neorafit, and today I'll be guiding you through a gentle yoga practice to help you to connect with the elements of earth, water, fire, and air. Throughout today's practice, you won't need any props, but if your knees do tend to get sensitive, go ahead and grab a blanket or something to pad your knees with. Other than that, just put on some music and we'll get started right away. We'll begin today's practice in a comfortable seat for our opening meditation. You can sit cross-legged if that's comfortable for you, or if it's not, you can opt to sit kneeling instead. And if your hips are quite tight and your knees are really elevated, higher than your hips, then sit on top of something like a meditation cushion or a pillow. Then either rest your palms facing down for grounding or up, symbolic of receiving, and close your eyes. Take a deep breath into your chest. Exhale, let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Inhale and sit up tall, lifting up from your sternum. Exhale, keep that length, but soften your hips into the ground. Now move your breath low into your belly. Ground down through your hips and your legs. And notice if any muscles that you don't need right now are active, like your jaw or your neck. We'll take just a few more deep breaths here, taking this moment to get grounded, centered, and present. Notice how just a few deep breaths can change your energy. And remember the sensation of grounding through your hips, sitting up tall and engaging your core muscles to get you centered. So that when times become stressful or when you become overwhelmed, you can recreate this sitting at your desk or in your car or wherever you might be. You can come back into the moment, reground, get centered, and hopefully find a little slice of peace. Bring your palms together at the center of your chest and choose an intention for your practice today. I'll also set a collective intention to get balanced as we work with the different elements and connect with those elements within ourselves. We start to find a little bit more balance so that we can live in harmony with the world around us instead of in opposition to it. Open your eyes, take a deep breath in, reach your arms all the way out and up, offering that intention you set out. And as you exhale, lower your hands back down to your heart, bringing it back into you. And from here, lower your hands down onto the ground and come onto your knees. Curl all 10 toes under, even your pinky toes. And then at first, keep your hands on the ground and just press your weight back into your feet. Ideally, your heels are pointing straight up towards the ceiling, so you're not allowing them to sickle or fall out to the sides. Now, if this is enough of a stretch, you're more than welcome to stay here. Otherwise, begin to walk your hands back, maybe even all the way up onto your thighs, so that you can sit with the most amount of weight down into the toes. This is called dukkha pose, and it's a stretch for the plantar fascia, or the bottoms of the feet, which is where all of our connective tissue culminates. So because there's so much connective tissue that ends up at the bottoms of the feet, this can be a very intense stretch. If it starts to feel like it's too much, bring your hands back down onto the ground to take some weight out of the toes, and then when you're ready, bring your weight back. Allow your eyes to close. You can rest your hands face down on your thighs, now moving into a grounding sensation, or you can rest your hands on top of each other, creating a little mudra. Deep breath in. And slow exhale. Notice if your glutes are gripping, maybe you can let them go. And maybe you can't, and that's okay. One more deep breath here. Now lower your hands to the ground, uncurl your toes, and tap out the tops of your feet. So this helps to encourage fresh blood back into the toes. Now keep your toes uncurled. Again, heels point up towards the ceiling rather than ankles sickling, and then bring your weight back into the heels. This time we're stretching the front of the ankle. For some of you, this will feel really intense. For others, this may not feel like much at all. That's totally okay. If you do need more, feel free to lean back a little bit or even lift your knees up, though it's not really necessary. Find some deep breaths again here. Close your eyes and visualize something that represents the earth element for you. So maybe you envision yourself walking through sand or some dewy grass, or maybe you imagine yourself playing with mud. Whatever comes to mind is perfect. A forest floor, mountains. With this image in your mind, send your energy down from your hips into your legs and feet. Now release that. Lower your hands down to the ground. This time coming into a tabletop position. Stack your hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips for cat-cow. Inhale, drop your belly towards the mat, curl your toes under, reach your chest forward and look up for cow pose. Then exhale, uncurl your toes, push down through the tops of your feet and round your spine into cat. Inhale, curl the toes under, come back into cow. And exhale, cat. Round out your spine, uncurl your toes. Now do 2 more rounds on your own. And start to choose an affirmation as you move into the earth element. Maybe something like, I am grounded, or I am rooted, I am stable, I am supported. Whatever resonates with you is perfect. After that last round, come back into a neutral tabletop. Slide your right leg back, keep your toes on the ground, and push your heel back into a calf stretch. Slow inhale, and slow exhale. And then lean your weight forward a bit, lift your right leg just to the height of your hip, and extend your left arm forward. Now from here, press the earth away, root down through the top of your left foot and your entire right hand. Feel the support of the earth and feel for lifting away from it. And then release, left hand down, right knee down, and switch sides. Slide your left leg back into calf stretch first. All 5 toes on this side will uncurl and then press back into your heel. Slow inhale into your upper back. And exhale, reach back through your heel. Now lift your left leg up just to the height of your hip and reach your right arm forward. Root down through the top of your right foot, your entire right shin, and your entire left hand, and lift your whole body away from the ground. Full breath in. Feel the support of the earth and lift yourself away from it. And then release, right hand down, left knee down. We'll start to get into the water element. So this is a little bit more fluid with a little bit more movement. Widen your knees and your hands just a little bit and begin to make big circles with your hips, lowering your hips towards the ground and then all the way back towards your heels. You can close your eyes as you circle. You might have some little pops happening in your hips or your lower back. That's totally okay as long as it's not painful. And then change the direction of your circles. And in your mind, as you move, start to visualize water. Maybe you see a waterfall or a flowing river or the tide. And bring yourself back into a neutral tabletop, hands back under shoulders. Walk your feet back into plank and then lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Wrap your shoulders so you're sliding your shoulder blades away from your ears and then forward a little bit towards your chest. It should feel like the muscles underneath your underarms, the serratus anterior muscles, are turned on. From here, bend your right knee a lot, keep the left leg straight, and then do the opposite. Bend the left knee, straighten the right. And continue moving in any way that would feel good or interesting. So maybe you come up high on your toes and drop from side to side. Then we'll begin to move into rolling waves. So from down dog, you'll come up onto your toes, then round your spine forward into plank. If you need to lengthen out your stance, go ahead and slide your feet back a bit, and then round from your upper back and roll back into down dog, lowering the heels last. We'll do that 2 more times. Rise up onto the heels, roll forward, and then round through the upper back and roll back. One more time on your own. Start to consider an affirmation for the water element. Maybe something like, I am fluid, or I live and flow, or creativity flows through me like water. After that last round, step your right foot in between your hands and lower your left knee down into a low lunge. And from here, you can come up onto fingertips or fists or even blocks, whatever works for you. As you inhale, allow your hips to sink forward, maybe lift your chest. And as you exhale, press back, maybe walk your hands back if you need, and straighten your leg, or partially straighten it. Inhale, hips forward, maybe lift your heart a little if that feels available today. And exhale, hips back, working the front leg towards straight. Do that 2 more times and repeat that affirmation that you set for the water element in your mind. Creativity flows through me like water. I live in flow. I am fluid. Or anything that resonated with you. And then from here, we'll move back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot back into plank first, then round your upper back and roll all the way back into down dog. And step your left foot between your hands. Lower your right knee down, low lunge to half split. Inhale, let your hips sink forward. Maybe lift your chest. You can even walk your hands up onto your thigh. And exhale, straighten or partially straighten the front leg. Hips come back over the back knee. Inhale forward. And exhale back. Move through 2 more, keeping that image of water and those affirmations to connect you to water in your mind. And then after that last round, step back into plank, curl the right toes under, lift the knee, left foot comes back to meet right, and then round through the spine, roll all the way back, downward facing dog. From here, lower your knees down to the ground, cross your ankles, and sit back as we move up into the fire element. We have this digestive fire that lives in the belly, and so we'll use our core muscles to stoke those flames. So for our very first variation of boat, you'll keep your feet on the ground, bring your hands to your knees, inhale, sit tall, and as you exhale, lean back, keeping your hands gripping your knees or your shins. So you should feel your core engaged just a little bit. That's the perfect amount for now. And then inhale, lift all the way back up. If that felt like plenty for you, you'll stay there. Otherwise, walk your hands back behind you and then begin to lean back. A little bit of support from the hands, but maybe you feel your core activate just a little bit more. And then rise back up. Now start to visualize fire in your mind. Maybe something small like a candle, big like a campfire or wildfire. Whatever comes to mind first is perfect. Walk the hands back, and now option to lift your feet up off the ground. Inhale here. Exhale, engage your core muscles by pulling your belly in. And then lower the feet back down. Hands come forward. Give your core a break. And we'll start to ignite that fire by choosing an affirmation. Hands back behind you. Lift your knees up. Now option to stay in any of the variations that you've been in before, or place your hands behind your thighs. So some affirmations that you might choose for fire are I am a powerhouse, or I create change, or I make things happen. Now lower your hands back down, feet back down, and grab back onto your knees. Maybe going a little bit more difficult this time. We'll see how you feel. Hands behind, lift your knees, hands to the backs of your thighs. Stay at any of these boat variations that works for you, or start to extend your arms forward. Inhale here. Exhale, pull your belly in as you lift your chest tall. Visualize that fire and repeat your affirmation for connecting with the fire element in your mind. Hands behind your knees and lower your feet back down. Take a breath here. You'll add just a little bit more spice each time if you'd like. Otherwise, stay at the variation that works for you. You do not have to go past the point of discomfort. Lean back, either hands to knees, hands behind your back, feet lifted, hands behind knees with the feet lifted, arms extended, or if you want to keep going, straighten your legs out and breathe. Visualize fire in your mind. Lift up through your chest. Hug your core muscles in, especially on the exhale, and repeat that affirmation for fire in your mind now 3 times. I create change. I am powerful. I make things happen. Whatever resonates with you, say it in your mind. And then release your knees back down. Awesome. You have one more boat hold. Very last one, I promise. Choose whatever version worked for you, or if you want to progress one more time, as you inhale, start to lower down into a low boat. And then, option one more time to progress, you can exhale, reach your arms overhead. The low back presses into the ground, squeeze your inner thighs, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rise all the way back up, and then release. Lower your knees down to the ground, and we'll start to move energy up into the air element. So come up all the way onto knees. Place your hands on either side of your sacrum. You can come onto fists if that's more comfortable. The sacrum is that triangular bone at the base of your lower back. Draw your belly in, think tailbone down, and lift your heart up. Breathe deeply into your chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades together a little bit. Inhale, fill up your lungs with air. Exhale, send the hips forward. Open up your heart a little bit more. Now rise back up, sit back onto your heels for a moment. Close your eyes and choose an image for air in your mind. Maybe you visualize something like leaves blowing in the wind, or wind moving through tall grasses or sand. And then rise all the way back up, and we'll take a second set of camel. Hands can stay on the lower back. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, press your hips forward as you lift your heart up. Maybe going a little bit deeper this time if that feels possible, or feels like your body wants to do that. One more breath here. See that image of air in your mind. Rise back up and sit back onto your heels. And we'll take just one more round of camel, possibly going a little bit deeper this time, reaching for heels if that doesn't bother your lower back at all. Rise back up. Again, start with your hands at either side of the sacrum. Send your belly in, tailbone down. Press the hips forward and lift your heart up. Visualize that representation of air in your mind. Now, option to lower either one hand at a time to heels or both hands at the same time to heels. Avoid dumping your head back and instead keep length through the back of your neck. Keep pressing the hips forward. One more deep breath here. To come out, if your hands were on your heels, bring them back to your lower back first, and then sit back onto your heels and come all the way down to a seat on your hips. Extend your right leg out into a half straddle and fold your left foot in against the right inner thigh. Place your right hand down beside you and reach out through your left fingertips. And then ease your right ear to your right shoulder. Let your jaw relax. And breathe deeply into your left shoulder and left side of your chest. And as we connect with the air element, we'll start to find some affirmations to help you connect with air. Air sort of lives in the area of the heart and lungs. And so I like to associate it with love. So maybe the affirmation is, I give and receive love freely. or I allow myself to be carried away by the moment. I use my breath to bring me to presence or peace. I trust. I forgive. Whatever resonates with you is perfect. Repeat your affirmation in your mind one more time. And then release your left hand down and use your right hand to lovingly help your head back up and switch legs. Extend your left leg out. Right foot folds in against left inner thigh. Place your left hand down beside you. Reach out and hover your right fingertips away from the ground. Then lower your ear towards your shoulder. Roll the chin forward and back a few times if you'd like. And once you find a spot that feels comfortable, pause there. Breathe into your right shoulder and the right side of your chest. And as you exhale, soften your shoulder blades down away from your ears and relax your jaw. Call that image of air back into your mind. And repeat your affirmation for connecting with the air element in your mind. Repeat your affirmation one more time. Then release your right hand down and use your left hand to help your head up. And then we'll come into fish pose. If you have discomfort or any neck sensitivity, what I'll have you do instead is legs straight up into the air. So I'll show you that modification first. If you have any neck injuries, instead extend your legs straight up and hold here. Otherwise, if fish pose is safe for you, extend your legs out and come up onto your elbows. Internally rotate your thighs so that your big toes and the big toe mounds are touching, and point your toes. Then press down through your forearms, lift your chest up, and then ease your head back. And breathe deeply into your chest. And listen to the sound of your breath. Use the breath as your anchor to keep you here in this moment. Now to come out, bring your chin back in towards your chest first, and then lie all the way down on your back. If your legs were lifted, lower them back down. Scoot your hips a few inches over to the left, and slide your ankles as far to the right as you can for banana pose. Reach your arms overhead and arc your upper body over to the right. You can grab onto elbows, forearms, wrists, or nothing at all. If you'd like a bigger stretch in this pose, cross your left ankle on top of the right ankle. And then breathe into your left side body. Use your breath to create space in between each of the ribs on the left side. One more deep breath on this side. And then to come out, uncross your left ankle. Slide your upper body back through center, legs back through center, and scoot your hips over to the right. Slide your ankles to the left. Reach your arms overhead and arc your upper body over to the left. Again, grabbing onto whatever feels right on this side. And if you need more, cross your right ankle on top of the left ankle. And then inflate your breath in between each of the ribs on the right side. Use your breath to stretch the intercostal muscles or the tiny muscles in between your ribs. One more deep breath here. To come out, uncross your right ankle. slide everything back through center and squeeze your knees into your chest for just a moment, giving yourself a little bit of love before we move into Shavasana. Once you feel complete, extend your legs straight out. Let your legs open to the sides of your mat. Open your arms just a little bit away from your body with your palms facing up. If your lower back is sensitive and Shavasana is not comfortable, then bend your knees instead and let your knees fall in against each other. Close your eyes. Take a breath into your belly. Exhale, let your hips relax. Inhale into your chest. Exhale, let your shoulders relax. Allow your body to slowly melt into the mat below you. Call to mind your image for earth. I am rooted. I am stable. I am supported. I am grounded. And call to mind your image for water. Creativity flows through me like water. I live and flow. I am fluid. Call to mind your image for fire. I create change. I am a powerhouse. I make things happen. Call to mind your image for air. I give and receive love freely. I forgive. I trust. I lighten up. We are made of the same material as this earth and everything on it. We're made of the same material as stars. When life carries you away, reconnect with earth, water, air, fire, with the elements, and come home to yourself. Begin to deepen your breath. And gently wiggle your fingers and toes, and roll your head side to side, reawakening your spine. Take a deep inhale and stretch your arms over your head like you just woke up from a nap. And then roll to your side in a fetal position and gently press yourself all the way back up to a comfortable cross-legged seat. Place your hands together at your heart once you arrive, sealing in your practice. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. My name again is Adriana with Neorafit. Namaste.